Through the concrete cracks worn weary by work boots and high heels. Through the concrete cracks showered in tears of sorrow, tears of joy. Through the concrete cracks rumbled by reverberations of 100 years, a flower on the hill takes its first breath, and a grand hope springs. Welcome to the Spring Street podcast at the intersection of creation and destruction in the heart of downtown Los Angeles. And now, a word from the sponsors. This podcast is sponsored by Starship Kairos, a podcast studio available for bookings in downtown Los Angeles. Starship Kairos is where my guests and I make this show happen. Soundproofed, cozy, and equipped with professional audio gear, Starship Kairos is an ideal location for any type of podcast. Starship Kairos offers a full suite of services including content consultation, mixing and mastering, and custom jingle writing. For rates and booking, check them out on Instagram at Starship Kairos or click on the link in the description. Before we jump in, I want to make a note about this episode. In the process of making this podcast, I was humbly reminded of how easy it is to make mistakes. Due to a simple oversight, I accidentally deleted the high-fidelity audio I recorded with Alina. When I realized what I'd done, I was devastated. These conversations are so precious to me, and I consider it a great responsibility to take care of them. Needless to say, going forward, I will be much more diligent backing up and storing these files. Fortunately, I was still able to work with the audio from the camera recording. The audio quality is far from its normal standard, but at least the conversation has not been completely lost. It was an honor to interview Alina and be tattooed by her on this episode. She's an incredible artist, and I highly recommend anyone interested in fine line work or microrealism to check out her Instagram, lena.ua. You can also find her work in the link in the description. And now, let's dive in. All right, Alina.
Hey.
We are live on the Spring Street podcast.
Yes, we are.
I am so happy that we're finally making this happen.
Yeah, me too.
It's been about 2 months, maybe in the making.
Yeah.
And this all started because we met when you came into Pleasing.
Yeah.
At Kinney. And I found out not just that you're a tattoo artist, but also that you follow bands on tour and tattoo the fans in hotel rooms, which is crazy.
The craziest thing ever happened to me.
So I want to go back to the very beginning of this. When did you start tattooing?
Okay. Are you ready to start to me?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay.
This is the craziest part. This is where I find out if this is going to be a very painful podcast or if it's going to be a chill, easy podcast.
I'll do my best to make sure it's not too bad. All right. So the question was, how did we start touring? Right?
Actually, I want to go even further back.
Okay.
When you started tattooing.
When did I start tattooing? Okay.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, my roommate taught me how to tattoo. She's an incredible artist. She's done my microrealism, my fine line neck one that you probably can't see there, but it's so tiny.
Yeah.
She is really, really good, and she's a great person. Her name is Sonia.
Okay.
It's Sonia Inc.
Shout out to Sonia Inc.
Yeah, and later she opened a studio where I currently work on La Brea.
Oh,
in our
nice.
gallery. Yeah, it's very beautiful. A lot of sunlight. A lot of nice artists. A lot of guest artists from like Korea and stuff.
Sweet.
So she taught me how to tattoo, how to use the machine, how like human skin heals, how it works. Before that, I was doing visual art my whole life, so this kind of came natural to me.
Okay. Wow. When you were younger, did you have any dreams or ambitions to be a tattoo artist, or was it kind of just going with what life brought you, going with the flow?
Yeah, I actually always wanted to be a tattoo artist, especially when I lived in New York.
Let me just turn that on real fast. For whatever reason, I'm pretty sure that there's a ghost in this room.
Yeah, right?
Because I left this light on all day out there just to test it.
Yeah.
And in this room, I don't know why, this light it'll just stop. It's crazy. Anyways, ghost aside. You were saying you had wanted to be a tattoo artist for a while?
Yes, when I lived in New York, I was working in a bar, and I really wanted to become a tattoo artist. I just didn't know how to start. I thought it would be like super difficult. Like, do I try to be an apprentice somewhere? Do I like, where do I get the tattoo machine? How do I practice? Like, I was scared to like mess it up. A lot of tattoo artists are like super afraid to mess it up when they start. So like, I didn't know where to start. So I put it, away.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So when you met your roommate, was that just kind of a serendipitous situation that she just happened to be a tattoo artist, or?
Yeah, she just like a friend of a friend that was looking for a place to live. I was looking for a place to live, and we like, hey, let's live together.
Yeah.
And, we are really good friends. We had great dynamic. So yeah.
Wow. So how long was that apprentice process when you were learning from your roommate?
Honestly, not too long. I was practicing on fake skin a lot, maybe like a month. And then she was like, you should post on your story that you are doing free tattoos and see if people want to come.
Wow, after only 1 month?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did people start hitting you up for free tattoos?
Yeah, they did.
Wow.
Yeah. I did like a snake, like little shark, little things. Very carefully, like, because I was afraid, but I touched it up later. But yeah, nothing crazy.
Wow. It's really interesting because I think your story is part of, because I've heard a lot of stories similar to this, and there's almost this new wave of tattooing.
Exactly, yeah.
A lot of people are getting into tattooing, and it seems like that timeline is accelerated. People are getting in really quick.
That's true.
And it's becoming, it seems easier for people to learn and more accessible.
That's exactly the case.
Yeah. So when did you start following bands on tour? How did that all come about?
Very unexpectedly. So when I first started tattooing, I found a job in like a walk-in shop in Melrose, where I had to be physically like 10 hours a day, all day sit there and wait for walk-ins. And it was like a rainy February. It was like sad and, rainy and dark. And my friend Katie, who's my best friend for years.
Shout out to Katie.
Yeah, shout out to Katie. She's like, it's kind of a long story, if that's okay.
That's perfect. We got plenty of time.
Yeah, so she was like, Hairstyles is performing in Palm Springs. Last shows, we have to go. It's going to be so fun, Alina, let's go. I was like, man, like I'm working. And then I was like, my friend wants to go, but you should go with her. And they hit me back later. Katie's like, you should go and tattoo there. There's like this party, this event. You could like tattoo at this event. I'm like, wait, hold on, slow down. Like, what event? Like, what are you talking about? She's like, this influencer girl is throwing like a villa pool party, like Harry's birthday party and last show. And you can, like, she's inviting, you can come tattoo.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, well, that sounds fun, then let's do it. And it's like 8 p.m. She's like, we have to be tomorrow at 5 a.m. I'm like, how am I supposed to do flash? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So somehow over the phone, me and Katie, like, put together a flash, we go. And I don't know what to expect. I don't know who's hairstyles. Like, I'm just, like, going along with it. And we get there, it's like a party, and so many people are coming. And to the point where Katie had to like help me, like assist people, and we had like over 60 people sign up.
Wow.
And I couldn't go through all of them because it was before the show. So yeah, we tattooed for 2 days, like really busy, a lot of that. Then we went back to LA, and I was like, well, it's probably gonna die out. And people kept coming for hairy tattoos. They kept coming, and then Katie is actually a fan of Lee Tomlinson. They used to be in the same band in One Direction, and Katie was posting TikToks of our experience tattooing at this party and all the tattoos, and people just like wanted us to come to every state and every show because Lee Tomlinson is on tour. He was about to tour. It was like months before, and Katie just did a good job of like posting a few videos, and it just went so viral. And people asked us to come to all the cities throughout the country, and we went and we tattooed in 21 cities, 13 states. I kept count of how many tattoos I did. I did like over 480 tattoos.
480 tattoos.
In a month and a half.
1 month and a half. That is insane.
Yeah, and I was still doing these tattoos like in LA.
Wow.
We just didn't realize how many people, wanted them, because you have no idea how many times I heard on tour people telling me like, well, I've been wanting this like hairstyle tattoo for, I heard 10 years, 8 years.
Wow.
But I didn't feel comfortable going to like old school parlor because they're judgy, they're not gonna like,
yeah.
So a lot of people just felt more comfortable coming to a couple of girls. And, But yeah, that was the tour kind of story.
You said 480 tattoos?
Yeah, I believe it's like 485, but I probably forgot some small ones. Yeah, something like that.
I mean, I can imagine that might be more tattoos than some tattoo artists do in a whole year.
I know, I'm very well aware of that.
So, and I can only imagine that when you do that many tattoos, it probably also really helps your skill level too, because you're just getting so much experience.
Yes, it does. Some things become really easy.
So you mentioned your roommate did fine line tattoo work, right?
Yes, she is doing.
And I've noticed too, I mean, your style, a lot of it is very fine line tattoo work. Do you ever go out of that style at all? Do you ever try out like, more American traditional styles or are you just, what you like, what you do well?
Well, I don't only do fine line, like what we're doing right now. It's not really fine line.
That's true, yeah.
I am using a thin needle, but it's pretty dark. There's a lot of going on. I love American traditional, but I am not really...
Oh, no. I got it. I guess this is just going to be part of the ritual.
Yeah. All right.
The ghost must be appeased.
So yeah, love American traditional, but I'm not really not doing it because there are so many great artists and like people are not coming to me for it already. It's just it kind of took me my career path took me a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely helps that fine line is very popular right now.
It is. Yeah. I love doing fine line. I just enjoy the process, but I feel like right now, people who are doing fine line, they're mostly also doing microrealism or like realism.
Yeah.
Some graphic work, not only solely fine line.
Now I noticed on your Instagram you post a lot of flash that you do, especially for the Harry Styles.
Yeah.
Like you do a lot of themed flash for whatever the band is.
Yes.
Are most people who are getting tattooed by you when you go on these tours, are they just picking flash, or do people sometimes have specific requests and have you draw stuff up?
Yeah, some people ask us to do custom designs, and we love to do them. And most of the times, if it's on tour, it's connected to...
Oh, man. I don't know what is going on with this light. Okay. If this light goes out one more time.
We're moving on.
One more time. Then we might pause and reconsider this light. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So what, custom designs?
Yeah, custom designs. But is most of the time are people just picking something off the flash sheet?
Yeah, most of the times. We do a lot of custom designs too. And it's really fun because almost all the time, of course, it's connected to the artist we're touring with. And it makes us like go through the song. Like, for example, they'll be like, this is my favorite song, I want to design for the song, it means so much to me. And I would listen to the song and like see what it means to this person and try to kind of visualize it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of a cool process, and I post a lot of that on my TikTok. I don't necessarily like love Taylor Swift, but people love her, and
they definitely do.
yes, and they love the designs I make, and they get them tattooed and send it to me. There's so many people that have been sending me my designs done in like different countries.
Wow.
It's cool. I really enjoy that. I'm glad I can serve them in some way.
So people are taking the flash that you have done, and different tattoo artists are doing that in other countries?
Yeah.
All right. I guess we're going to have to figure out a different lighting situation. We can pause this real fast here.
All right. What was the question?
What was the question? We were talking about
TikTok.
TikTok. Always talking about TikTok. No, not quite yet.
Yeah, people getting designs and.
Oh, actually, okay, yes, no,
Yeah.
okay, my bad, yeah. So people will take your designs, and other tattoo artists in other countries will.
Yeah.
And it doesn't bother you that another tattoo artist is tattooing your design?
Honestly, it doesn't bother me. It's just fun for me to make these little videos for people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I guess you just get excited when you're getting a lot of comments like, hey, can you do this song? Can you do this song?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, can I? Let's see.
Yeah.
And I'll do it, and then boom, somebody would send me a photo like, hey, I got this tattoo. A lot of people would ask me if they can get it tattooed, and I'll be, of course, it's for grabs. You guys definitely can do it. Some people will be like, can I pay you? And I'll be like, you can tip me, but feel free to grab the design. So yeah, it's fun to see my designs done by different artists.
It's such a fascinating thing, the idea of artwork that you created being on somebody else's body.
I know, that trips me out.
When you first started tattooing, I mean, I can imagine that you were pretty nervous, right, the first time, or were you not nervous?
I was shaking, yeah.
Yeah?
Of course, yeah.
How do you deal with the nerves? Is it just a matter of time and practice, and eventually you don't even think about it, or do you meditate?
Well, I definitely have to get myself in the right mindset. Like, I don't like rushing. I don't like being frantic. I don't like being like caffeinated too much.
Yeah.
At first, it was very like intimidating, but then honestly, I have tough skin.
Yeah.
I was like, I love it. I want to do it. I like being out of my comfort zone. I like pushing myself out of my comfort zone. So like, I don't mind it. I, always do things that are kind of scary, like touring, doing this podcast. I'm not a good talker, so it's fun for me. It's exciting, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like anybody who's a tattoo artist probably has to be somewhat courageous, even just to get into that field of picking up a machine and putting the needle 1,000 times into somebody's skin and leaving a permanent mark. I mean...
Yeah, I think so too.
Did you ever have any moments where you doubted yourself? Were there ever any times where you're like, I don't know if this is for me?
No, I know 100% it's for me. I never doubted that, but I, of course, have to be honest with myself and tough on myself and not relax, Always be like, you should do better, this is forever. It's in everything, in the work itself and like the experience of the client at the shop and every little thing. Always trying to get better. And luckily I have all the, people around me that are super learning orientated. My studio, Sonia and her boyfriend UFC. I have Katie that's always like, we're gonna go to Puerto Rico and do this. Always, yeah.
That's awesome. In terms of the client relation, that's another really fascinating one because you're working with people.
Yeah.
And people, I mean, we have emotions, we feel things, there's pain involved, there's preference. What are some of the most challenging things about working with people as a tattoo artist?
One of the most challenging things, I would say if the person doesn't trust me. I'm pretty good at making sure my clients are comfortable. I worked in the bars and restaurants, and I can serve people. But if they're too anxious or there's this weird vibe. Like, I feel it's out of my control to make sure they're good. That sometimes can throw it off.
Yeah.
You know, I guess as in every relationship sometimes. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have any issues. Like, I don't know.
What do you do to help people if they can't deal with the pain? Does that ever happen where somebody thinks that the tattoo hurts too much?
The work I do is not very painful. I don't do a bunch of like packing and super dark shading, but I always have Bactine at my station. I brought some today. If it gets too bad, let me know.
What is that?
Bactine.
Bactine, is that like a numbing agent?
It's not a numbing cream. It's just a spray. You can get it at CVS. If you scratch yourself, it really takes that irritation and.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
It works so well.
Wow.
It saved my life when I was getting my dog tattoo.
Really?
Yeah. It really works. It makes it so much better.
Have you seen, there's a video that's been circling around on Instagram, and it's about a place, I think it's in LA, where you can get tattooed, and they put you under. Yeah. Like, they knock you out, and then all these tattoo artists work on you.
Yeah, it's like a celebrity thing, I guess.
What do you think about that?
I'm not opposed to it. I think if the person doesn't want to feel, they want to get like a full body sleep and
wake up and...
Yeah, and they don't want to feel the pain, and they're willing to pay... What is it? Isn't it like hundreds of thousands of dollars?
Oh, I don't know, but I can imagine it's probably a lot of money.
Yeah, I saw it's like super expensive. I'm not opposed to it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think.
It's interesting the way that that tattooing is developing and changing. And I feel like right now, there's so much change.
Yeah.
There's so many new styles that are coming out.
Yeah.
So many new artists, younger artists.
True.
Do you follow a lot of these tattoo trends? Are you, as a tattoo artist, do you feel like you're very involved in that world? Or do you kind of feel like you're just in your own lane doing your own thing?
No, I feel like, I very much enjoy kind of paying attention and seeing what new things there are. You know how it's like in music. You can't really now say, oh, this is this style, this is that style. I feel like at this point, when the tattoo machines became so accessible and so good, and obviously social media and the internet, like everybody can do pretty much anything on the skin.
Yeah.
At this point, the styles they don't really exist. It's just whatever you want, like anything. I guess, of course, there's like realism, microrealism, fine line, traditional American, and all that, but you can also combine them and, do pretty much anything. But I enjoy looking like what's new, what's out there. I'm very much trying to, pay attention to that.
I'm curious about your style and the inspiration behind it. Because when I look at your flash, there's two completely different things. So some of it is like very dainty, very feminine, very delicate. And then another style that you do is a little bit more kind of like gothic, emo, darker, skeletons, barbed wire roses. Yeah. So where do you get your inspiration?
Well, where do I get my inspiration? Honestly, pretty much anything. I don't have one direct source of inspiration. I guess what affects me is that I know what is popular, what people want, and I know I can give it to them. I refer to fine line stuff and all the dainty things and like little, writing that is so fine. But I also like, for example, the barbed wire rose. I feel like the fun part about the barbed wire rose is that like you don't really notice the barbed wire at first because it looks natural there, like the spikes. You don't even like pay attention to it, and then you might realize it's not the rose spike barbed wire. There's things like that. Like I have this huge tattoo I did, the Harry Styles sitting on a big disco ball.
I think I saw that one on your Instagram.
Yeah, and he has like he has an album where the album art is him sitting on a big balloon, and I wanted to make designs for Harry fans that like love him and want to get his face or like something tattooed on them, but without screaming hairstyles, without like people looking and be like, this is hairstyles. So the center of the composition is a huge disco ball. This is where you look at first, but then you kind of realize there's also somebody sitting on it, and then you're like, oh, this is hairstyle. Things like that. I kind of like to do.
If you had the opportunity to tattoo Harry Styles, and you got to pick the tattoo, what do you think you would tattoo on him, and where would you tattoo him?
Oh my god, why is it so hard to... The face?
You would tattoo his face?
Like a neck, something.
Okay.
Like that. I don't know. Honestly.
And what would the tattoo be?
Very hard question. I don't know.
Teardrop.
Imagine. It's hard to make a decision for the person. I don't know. I would have to like ask him what he wants. I don't know.
Have you ever had that that scenario where you actually choose a tattoo for somebody?
On tour, we had a couple of times where somebody was like, you choose.
Really?
Yeah, we're like, no, you choose. Like, don't put it like on my shoulders.
Wow.
I don't want to choose for you.
Did you end up choosing for them?
I can make suggestions.
Okay.
I'm not going to choose for them.
Wow. That's so... I feel like I could potentially be open to that maybe one day.
Oh, you have to trust the person enough.
It's definitely always been my choice, whatever I get tattooed on me.
Yeah.
The one time, I can't remember where I was. I was at a tattoo shop, and they had like it was some kind of a game. Like you roll a dice or something, and then each number is associated with a piece of flash. So whatever you roll, that's the one that you get.
Yeah, did you do it?
I didn't do it. I think I chickened out. I was like, oh, that's too wild.
They were like too crazy. Some of the designs were too much for you. You're like, I don't want to get
that.
Yeah,
see, that's the thing. Is there's always going to be one that you're like, I don't know about that. So.
Yeah, we had that at the old school parlor I used to work at, and they had like you put up 25 cents and it's like the little thing gives you a design.
Really? Oh, that's kind of cool. That's very classic. What was your first tattoo? And how old were you when you got it?
I have this map here. It's the map of the world.
Wow.
Here.
Show off that bicep.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I got it in South Dakota when I was 19.
Wow.
My first year in America.
Wow. South Dakota.
South Dakota.
What were you doing in South Dakota? You were working on the oil rigs or...
I was working as a housekeeper and a dishwasher.
Okay.
At Dakota Steakhouse and like some hotel.
Yeah.
It was a part of student exchange program.
Oh, interesting.
Doing that.
So you were going to university in Ukraine, and then you came to South Dakota on the exchange, or?
Yeah, I was studying in Kiev, and I came to South Dakota for the summer to work the housekeeper and dishwasher.
Wow. Yeah. And was that your first time in America?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What were your first thoughts?
Oh, I had so many culture shocks. When I saw, like, the fire hydrant, I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. Yeah.
Really?
It's like in the movies. Yeah.
That's so funny. What are fire hydrants like in Kyiv?
Do we have any?
No fire hydrants.
What? Fire hydrant?
It must be some other kind of system.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't have those. But, so I did have culture shocks.
Yeah.
And, another biggest one was, there was like a biker event called Sturgis. It happened,
yes.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
So yeah, I worked in a restaurant, and everybody was like, so it's going to be so busy for Sturgis. I'm like, in my head, biker event? As a Ukrainian, I'm thinking a bunch of like young kids on like sport bikes.
Yeah.
And of course,
bunch of old guys.
Old men and topless 9-year-old women on chopper old school bikes.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, this is sick. When I get old, this is how I want to be. These people are enjoying their lives, unlike over there.
Yeah.
So that was like big for me.
Wow.
This is where I got this tattoo on Sturgis.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, what an interesting first experience in America, because that's so specific. Like, I mean, I don't actually know all the specifics of Sturgis, but I know that, like, I think the Hells Angels are involved with Sturgis,
What
like
is Hell's
the
Angels?
motorcycle club.
I don't know what is Hell's Angels. What is
You
that?
probably saw some Hells Angels. It's like a very infamous motorcycle gang,
Oh.
and they have a very specific patch.
Okay.
They're very
There
notorious.
were hundreds of fights.
Oh yeah, big time. Wow, that's so cool. So were you there for the summer or for a whole year?
Summer.
A summer.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, I was there for the summer.
First time in America.
Yeah.
And did you only see South Dakota, or did you get to go to any other states?
Yeah, we then got to travel to Vegas and like the Canyon and LA.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like so fun.
Yeah, what were your thoughts when you first came to Los Angeles?
So, my best friend Gabby, we were born on the same day. Since then, we're best friends.
Mm-hmm.
She was terrified because we took the bus from Vegas to LA, and it came
Wow.
to downtown LA, and all the homeless. She was like terrified, and I thought it's fine. But we didn't know. Like, we didn't know that LA was not glamorous,
I didn't either.
Yeah, really?
When I first came to downtown LA, I wanted to see downtown because I thought downtown would be cool. Because every other downtown in every other American city is the place to go.
How old were you?
Oh, man. When I went on this little adventure, I was probably 24.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, because that was when I moved down to LA. I came down here on like a weekend trip to scout it out
Yeah.
for my brother and I, because we were going to move down together.
Uh-huh.
And I was looking at a warehouse in Skid Row,
Oh, my God.
and I didn't even know that I was walking into Skid Row. I got off the train, I had my guitar on my back, and I walked
my God.
all the way from 7th Metro Station, all the way down 7th into Skid Row. And as I'm walking, I start like not being able to walk on the sidewalk because it's all tents and it's all homeless people, and I'm thinking like, where am I? Like, what am I walking into? And so I finally get to this warehouse, and it was a cool artist warehouse that this photographer had, and he was renting it out to people, and he was throwing raves there and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And
that's so cool. You didn't.
yeah, we ended up not taking that warehouse. We ended up taking a place in Santa Monica, like a little closet studio for our music. But that first experience was shocking.
Yeah,
coming to downtown LA.
Coming to downtown, let's get roll. Great.
Yeah, not what I expected.
Yeah.
At all. So you mentioned that at one point, eventually you moved to New York. You were living in New York?
5 years I lived in New York.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What part of New York did you live in?
All over the place. Of course, I started, me and Gabby, in Brighton Beach because we didn't know any better. Somebody gave us a newspaper, and this is how we found our place.
Wow.
And then we lived near Prospect Park South, but majority of my time I spent in Harlem, 5th Avenue, and 125th Street.
Okay.
My home.
Wow.
Yeah. Love it.
So, and that was after you graduated university in Ukraine?
No, I never graduated.
Okay, dropped out. Nothing wrong with that. I've dropped out a few times.
Yeah, I was studying art,
Yeah.
So still doing art, kind of.
Definitely. I would say that this counts as art. So you came from Ukraine to New York. And what year was that?
I was 1920. So what year was that? I don't know.
2016.
16? 16.
2016?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I'm bad at numbers.
It's all right because you're amazing at tattooing, so I think it makes up for it. What did you love the most when you lived in New York?
Oh, well, New York is still my favorite city in the world, and I just love the craziness of it, and I guess the love-hate relationship with New York. The fact that every time you leave your house, you don't know what's going to happen. You might end up in a crazy situation in your life, or in the worst situation or in the bad situation. It's just so unexpected. I feel like it's a great place to be in your early 20s.
Yeah.
To really experience life and, kind of becomes a little bit more thicker skinned.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess just there's no one favorite thing about New York. It's everything.
Yeah, I love New York too. It's probably my favorite city in the United States. Definitely one of my favorite cities in the world.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd ever move back?
Well, move back. Honestly, I'm very comfortable here.
Mm-hmm.
I would not want to live there, but I would want to spend maybe 20% of my year there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bi-coastal. What made you want to move to Los Angeles?
COVID happened. I didn't have my bar job anymore. I always wanted to move to Los Angeles, and my current boyfriend, he lives here, and I always had a huge crush on him, and I wanted to come and, closer here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So came for a few things. Came for love. Came for a fresh start. You were part of that wave of people coming from New York to Los Angeles. There were so many people who came from New York to Los Angeles.
Yes.
I had
one of them.
I had a little bit of a similar story. I lost my job bartending when COVID happened.
Here in LA?
Here in LA. Yeah, I was bartending in LA. Mm-hmm. Lost my bartending jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But I moved back to Canada.
Oh.
When that happened. So.
Oh, wow.
I moved back to Canada, and then I came back to LA once things opened up again.
Oh, okay. So you spent COVID in Canada.
I spent part of COVID in Canada. Mm-hmm. The majority of COVID I spent in LA, but when the lockdown happened, like when it was bartending, suddenly don't have a job, and had no idea what was going to happen, I went back to Canada.
Yeah, it was a weird time.
Yeah, do you miss bartending at all?
Sometimes I feel like when we have a friend that is a bartender. Sometimes I look at him and I'm like, I wouldn't mind making a drink for someone, but like I don't miss like people being rude. Don't miss being busy and like stressing.
Yeah. Well, in a way, being a tattoo artist, I feel like it's kind of similar. That customer connection.
Right.
People come in, they probably tell you their life story a little bit. They tell you what they're going through.
Some people do like to talk, while they get into it. That's true.
Yeah, actually, would you say the majority of people talk to their tattoo, or do a lot of people just put on headphones and tune it out?
I very, very rarely have people putting on headphones.
Mm-hmm.
Some people bring friends and they chat between themselves. I normally chat with my clients. They're, it's always fun to get to know them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you have been on tour, what are some of your favorite memories?
Okay, let's see. Okay, so I love. There was one moment where I went to the show with Katie, and that day, for some reason, Louis Tomlinson came out with his hair up, and I almost went deaf because of the screaming, and I just enjoyed watching my friend Katie purely shocked and happy. That was great.
Yeah.
Also, in New York, we tattooed in the hotel where One Direction shot the music video, and one of the members got a tattoo in that hotel.
Oh, no way! And from you guys?
No.
Oh,
it was One Direction time. There's this song "Perfect," it's called "Perfect," shot in the hotel, and Liam got a tattoo in that hotel in that music video.
Wow.
Yeah, so we rented that same room, the same hotel.
That's really cool.
And, the fandom went crazy for it.
Oh, I'm sure they were nuts about it.
They, made same videos, and, it was fun.
That's
it was
so
really
cool.
fun. And another thing that I will never, ever forget, I love sharks. Sharks are my favorite thing in the world. And I always wanted to see a shark. And when we went to Florida, me and Katie did shark diving.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was my favorite thing too.
That's insane. So to do shark diving, do they have to put a regulator in your mouth? When you go in there, how does it work?
No, it's not really diving. It's more like snorkeling. They throw a rope
Okay.
And they give you a vest, and you just kind of float on top of the water with a little snorkeling device, and you just look. And the professional diver, goes down and like she feeds the sharks.
Oh my God.
Like close to you, and they would like come eat the tuna like right next to you.
Whoa.
And there were so many sharks and different breeds of shark, and like it was like an hour experience. It was so fun.
Wow.
Recommend if you ever in Florida, you have to do it.
Okay.
Jupiter, Florida, shark diving.
Jupiter, Florida. It's on the map now.
Yeah.
So, after touring and being on the road so much and seeing so much of America, do you have any favorite states? Besides, like, if we're not talking about New York, any places that you really, really love?
Well, you know, we were so busy, we didn't really get to experience a lot of the city.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to answer that. And also, we had different experiences with like hotels, so some of the places I thought would be the best became kind of the worst. For example, we were in Colorado, and we anticipated that show so much. It was Red Rock's show.
Mm-hmm.
And the craziest hail happened. Like, we watched people getting their fingers broken, like this big hail.
Holy shit.
We were all at the venue, and it was sunny, and then out of the blue,
Whoa.
it starts just hailing like crazy for like 15 minutes. We saw blood, had like broken fingers.
Oh my God.
Like, we all were bruised.
Whoa.
Next day, we tattooed a girl, and she was like, just tattoo me where I'm not bruised. I tattooed her right here.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like crazy experience.
Wow, that's wild.
So yeah, well, and the favorite memories, Jupiter, Florida, shark diving.
Yeah. How many tours have you done at this point?
We just done the one.
Just the one?
Yeah, we have another one coming up this summer. Another One Direction member, Niall.
Okay.
Katie's now working every day, booking people, like
Wow.
posting. She's busy right now.
So, on that last tour, when you did 485
Ish.
people-ish, what does that break down to per day? How many tattoos were you doing a day?
Well, the most I've done was 30 a day, and some cities it wasn't too busy. Maybe it was like 10.
Yeah.
Some cities it was just me. Some cities it was Julia. You met her, another artist.
Yeah.
So between like, I don't know, 5 and all the way to 30 a day for just one artist.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's still so many tattoos a day.
It is, yeah.
Considering, I feel like most tattoo artists are probably doing at most, I don't know, 4 tattoos a day in a shop, do you think, at most?
Well, it really depends on the tattoo.
Yeah.
Majority of them were Louis Tomlinson's little smiley face. It's just 2 crosses and little smiley.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty quick.
Takes a minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why we were able to do so many. Some of them were easy, and people wanted them. People wanted like the tiny ones, you know, like little memory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And where did this idea come from? Following bands on tour, tattooing in the hotel rooms. Had you guys seen people doing this before? Or was it just a little bit kind of like try it out and see what happens?
No, we didn't plan it. Like we did that hairstyles show in Palm Springs, and next thing we know, we are going on tour. Like, it's just the power of social media kind of pushed it like one after another. At first, Katie was like, oh, I want to go to maybe like some shows. I wish we could like have events like that in every state so we can like go. But little did we know we were the event. We just because of social media, kind of everything blew up and viral. Yeah, people just knew.
And so when you guys go on the road, you guys have a name for like that tattooing company. What's that called?
It's called Running Water.
Running Water. Yeah. On Instagram as well, Running Water Tattoo?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is you and then also
Katie and Julia.
And Julia.
Yeah.
The three amigas.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think that in the future you would ever do other types of tours, like besides music tours, or is that kind of where you guys want to stay, like in the music world?
I think we're gonna stick to the music. I don't know what else we could do. I mean, we are already traveling, doing guest spots here and there, but yeah, with running water is more like a fan experience, music fan experience thing right now.
Have you gotten the chance to tattoo in Europe at all?
No, unfortunately, not yet.
Okay. If you could go anywhere in the world to tattoo, like a dream destination city, what would it be?
Well, to specifically tattoo or travel?
Just a tattoo.
Ukraine, no.
Yeah.
I would want to go home, tattoo there, for sure.
Do you know many tattoo artists in Ukraine or who are from Ukraine?
I know people from Ukraine here, but I don't know anybody there. So I was like kind of young when I left, so I don't really know.
How old were you when you left Ukraine?
18.
Okay, wow. When was the last time that you were back in Ukraine?
18. never went back.
Oh yeah, okay, wow.
Yeah, I've never been back.
So, and you grew up your whole life in Kiev?
No, I'm from the east.
Okay.
I'm from the occupied area.
Oh, really? What's the name of the city where you grew up?
It's called Alchevsk.
Alchevsk.
Yeah, it's in Lugansk region. Yeah, it's very east.
Wow. What are some of the things you remember about where you grew up? Like some of the fond memories?
Of my hometown? We have 16-kilometer long factory that is, the sky is always gray. It's like an industrial city. There's always there's a lot of mines, very much post-communist society. Luckily, I had the best friends. My family was great, so I had a great childhood. But my memories of my hometown is pretty gloomy.
Really?
Yeah. But still good memories.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And then when did you move to Kiev?
When I got into college.
Okay.
Yeah. Went to school to study art.
So if you came to America when you were 18.
Yes, I was 18.
Then you must have been in college at 16 or?
What is the age when we get to college? I think so, yeah. 16, 17, something like that. So I only studied for 2 years and then I came here.
Okay.
Yeah, I never left because I went to school in New York. I changed my visa to student, so I stayed there.
And then what did you study in New York?
English. I didn't speak any English.
Didn't speak any English when you came to America?
No, I said hello.
Wow. I am always so impressed by people who learn another language and can speak fluently in that language and move countries. Yeah, I'm always very impressed by that. So, and your English is perfect.
Thank you. It's been a long time. 8 years at this point.
How did you learn English? What were some of the things that helped?
I went to school to study English, in ESL school. You just only study English with other foreigners. But working in New York City in the bars and restaurants helped a lot because I had to speak. My first job was a hostess, so take reservations over the phone.
Yeah.
Take their name, their phone number, talk to them, answer their questions, stuff like that. You have to speak. There's no other choice.
Wow.
Just go speak.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm noticing a little bit of a theme with your life, being willing to jump into these really scary and uncomfortable situations that the first time is probably so nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even imagine if I had to be a host at a restaurant and people were calling me in Spanish and I was having to try to oh my goodness.
Well, luckily there were a lot of Russian-speaking clients because the restaurant was in Russian, Turkish kind of neighborhood. So
wow.
Yeah, English was second language there.
Okay. How long did it take until you felt like you were really actually fluent?
Never fluent.
I mean, to me, you sound fluent.
Maybe when I worked at the bar, because
Yeah.
it was so fast-paced and English, only English, because it was in Manhattan, near office buildings. So this is where I had to like switch my brain to English more. Yeah.
Do you dream in English, or do you dream in
English?
In English.
I do, yeah.
Okay. I mean, see, when did that shift happen?
I think when I worked at the bar.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
When you had to like quickly be fast, like speak, really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Reply to clients and be like customers.
Wow. And then, in terms of language, you speak Ukrainian or Russian? I'm still trying to figure out like how that all works, because I know that those languages are very similar.
Yeah, well, because I'm from the east, I'm from the border with Russia. I speak Russian mostly. My family spoke Russian to me. I speak Ukrainian. I spoke it in school, but at home I spoke Russian. So, unfortunately, I'm more like a Russian speaking Ukrainian.
Are the languages written the same and just pronounced differently? What are some of the differences between Russian and Ukrainian?
It's like Spanish and Portuguese.
Okay.
Ukrainian is more similar to Polish than it is to Russian.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. And the alphabets are slightly different.
Really fascinating.
Can we take a break?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we are back.
Yeah, we're back.
And what are we about to do, Alina?
So, because Sheldon started crying.
Oh my God!
And said it was too much to handle. He said, please give me the Naumenko.
Oh man, you're throwing me under the bus right here.
So no, we're just testing out Vaccine. It's like a little spray you can get in CVS for $8, $9.
This show is brought to you by CVS.
Vaccine. Yeah. So it's just whatever this is. It's not enough.
Pain relieving cleansing spray. This is purely for science.
Yeah. Because
Alina insisted that I know what the experience is like.
Mm-hmm.
So
a lot of people love it because
we're gonna find out.
It does the job. It really takes away the stinging pain after I went over an area and then I come back into the same area. I know sometimes it burns, and this thing is the best. Also, I'm about to do like the darkest parts.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is looking sick, by the way. This is looking really cool.
Yeah, right. I'm using this technique where I'm just going on a super low speed, like 1.5 voltage, and like just creating dots, going over, like doodling kind of. And it just gives it kind of a sticky, folkish look. Like you can see, like
right, yeah, you can see all the little individual dots.
Yeah.
Stippling, is that what it's called? Like the when it's a lot of dots. Is that called stippling?
I think. I don't know. Maybe if you tell me in Russian, I'll know.
Stippling.
So yeah. It takes like a minute or two for the spray to
Okay, well, I'm curious. I'm very curious. So, tell me about your setup with your machines. You got two machines here.
Oh, yes.
What's the difference between the two?
My babies, my two machines. I have two bishops. This is a shader. This is a packer.
Okay.
And so this one is 3.5 stroke, and this one's 4.2, I think. So this is like for shading. It's very light. Like the power with which the motor pushes out the needle is like softer. So I use that for like super fine line single needle writing, little thin lines, not to blow it out. So I go very light, kind of scratch it on, like slowly build up the lines. And with the packer, I do something thicker. If I'm using like I'm trying not to use packer with a single needle because there's a chance you can go a little too deep, right? So yeah, and I have it connected to the wire. I do it very rarely, only when I need to go on the slow speed, like 1.5. Yeah, I have a little like it's actually wireless. It can be wireless if you want. It's just
interesting.
Yeah, only for
the slow speeds.
Yeah, slow speed can be achieved.
Interesting. It's also so quiet too.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to hear the audio when I play this back because. Even the last time that I did a tattoo in here, it was louder And that was still a pretty quiet machine.
Yeah.
Also way quieter than a typical rotary. Is that the old school type rotary?
Oh, coil?
Coil?
Yeah.
Okay, because this is a rotary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
I'm pretty sure. Uh-oh, we gotta fact check this. But yeah, like the traditional machines are so loud.
They are. They're unnecessarily loud.
I still haven't done a podcast with one of those. I'm curious to know what that would be like.
What would you do in this kind of setup? You feel anything?
Whoa. I actually can't feel anything.
Just the vibration, right?
Dang.
Isn't it cool?
Okay. Wow, that is weird.
Yes.
That is so weird.
It's a little trippy. And I'm, like, if before I was using a thin needle and going light, now I'm digging deep. I'm, like, going over irritated area that's been worked on. It's supposed to hurt.
You know what you should have done? You should have sprayed one half of the wing and then let the other wing, and then we could compare.
We can just do it here.
Oh my god, just that quick little dot on my shoulder. Wow, that's cool.
So yeah, I love vaccine.
Huh. Yeah, I can definitely see how that would be helpful. Like, and also super easy because we did half this tattoo without it, and then you just sprayed it on.
Yeah, because I like working in layers. I like going over the whole thing, then wipe it off, and go back into like areas I already worked on.
Yeah.
So this helps not to have the client.
That is so weird. I'm looking at this needle going into my skin, and I'm not.
Yeah, it's a 7 shaders. It's a lot of needles there.
There's 7 needles?
Yeah, there's 7 needles.
Wow.
And it's like a thicker one, so it's supposed to hurt a little more.
Wow. Okay. All right. I guess I didn't have any doubts. I just didn't want to do it because I didn't want to.
Don't lie. We all know you cried. You asked for it.
I was in tears, just sobbing. My cheeks are red.
Yeah.
Wow. No, that's actually really cool. Are there any tattoos that you like dream about doing that you haven't gotten to do yet? Like a certain piece or a certain placement?
Honestly, I am super lucky, fortunate to be doing exactly what I want to do. Of course, there's like little things that people just ask me to do in between, but I feel like if you are posting your flash, if you are, active on social media, people will come to you for what you're doing already. So, yeah, can't think of anything really.
What's your favorite thing to tattoo? You have a lot of like patterns, and there's kind of like a few different things. Like you, obviously, butterflies, moss, roses. Like, out of all of those, all the things that you draw for your flash, what's your favorite tattoo?
For some reason, butterflies.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like them. I don't know why. I just love tattooing them. Maybe because I've done so many, and now it's easier. Maybe I'm just lazy.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy doing them. And a lot of tattoo artists are like always iffy about doing a lot of fonts and writing. It's like considered not cool if you're doing too much writing. I love doing writing. I love doing like little cursive single needle, very, very thin, like kind of my neck ones. I love that.
Yeah. That's interesting. Why is that a little taboo for tattoo artists?
It's not a taboo. It's just tattoo artists, we are a little bit prideful. We want people to come to us for our flash. We want to be known for our designs. We want to be known for our style, right? And if you're doing writing, that means people come to you to get their dog's name tattooed.
Right, yeah.
That's fine, but, I like it.
Yeah.
I enjoy the process.
I guess you could always, like, draw your own font. That would be crazy.
Yeah, there's, like, AI that helps you do that.
Oh, God, there's AI that does everything. Actually, did you hear about, there's this new technology, this thing that, like, prints tattoos onto you.
Really?
Have you seen this?
I think I've seen, like, a laser, but not, like, a tattoo.
Well, I think that, I don't exactly know how it works, and I need to look into this more, but it's some new invention, and this thing literally, like, prints these tattoos onto you. It might use a laser to do it. Yeah.
I've seen that done with somebody who had, like, a blacked out sleeve and a lasered picture on top of the blacked out sleeve.
Oh, that's crazy.
I haven't seen, like, ink going.
Yeah. What do you think about blackout work? Would you ever do it on yourself?
No.
No.
I have this really dark piece done by EFC from our studio.
That must have been intense.
No, it did not hurt at all. It was one of the least painful tattoos I've gotten. Yeah.
Really?
Because it was done in this technique in 1.5 speed. And EFC, the guy from my studio, he's a great artist.
Yeah.
He did it. Took him like 3 hours. It's actually a cover up. I had a Patrick star.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had a Patrick star tattooed underneath it.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a cover up. It didn't hurt at all because of this technique that we're using with that machine, like close.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's really cool.
Wow. Who are some of your favorite tattoo artists? Or people that you look up to, you follow on Instagram?
Yeah. I hate answering these questions because I know their stuff, but I don't know their names.
Oh.
Like, I have a separate folder where I save their work and I go back and I check it daily. But I never look at their names.
Yeah.
Luckily, I mean, the guys from my studio are great too. Yeah. Like I hate that I don't. I would love to shout out them right now, but I don't know their names.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny. I think you also have to remember two names because there's
Instagram.
The person's actual name and then their Instagram handle. Sometimes they're totally different.
Yeah, it's this girl. She does amazing balloons mostly, or kind of chrome stuff. And she does it in the technique too. Her texturing is so cool.
That chrome style is really tight.
Right?
And it's also kind of a brand, I feel like it's a brand new style, only in the last couple of years, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which reminds me, do you have an apprentice? Because I saw you post something about, there's a guy, Alex.
So it's a very interesting story because when I moved to LA, he's one of the first friends I made when I moved. And we both pursued 3D career. I quickly realized I built the thickest computer, spent $5,000 on it. I thought it would be my career. I would be a 3D person. But the more I did it, the more I realized that I hate it. It's too technical for me, and I need to do something more tangible.
3D modeling, or?
Yeah, Blender rendering. He was doing modeling. He was sculpt faces, and he's so good. He's just a true artist.
Yeah.
He can draw. He can sculpt. And I was rendering his sculptures, and we had a little gig we did for this artist in New York. We did 3D for him. So Alex is now doing what I did, kind of not really excited about 3D anymore and super excited about tattooing. He does his designs in 3D in Blender. He renders his designs. That's why he's able to get all the shading, the lighting, all the textures, so cool. And so he got his license. Sonia, me, and the EFC helped him, with everything, explained stuff. And he did his tattoo on a person. And it came out amazing.
Wow.
So he's going to be doing some free tattoos.
Yeah, I saw that on your Instagram post. Maybe I should hit him up and bring him on the podcast.
Yes, or you should come to the studio to check it out.
I do think I got to come to the studio. It'd be really cool.
Oh, you would love to. Yeah, you would love to meet EFC and Sonia. They're very interesting people. EFC is he would have so many stories to tell, unlike me.
I don't know about that. You got quite a story. I mean... It's still, like I said, anybody in my mind who moves to another country and doesn't speak that language, that's already more than what a lot of people could say who are born in America. Yeah. They're still living in America.
Yeah, I feel like if you were to move to another country, you would learn the language.
I think that I would.
Yeah.
Maybe depending on the country. There's some places I love languages. But there's certain countries where I would definitely be harder. I think if I moved to China, that just seems like it would be really tricky.
Yeah, true.
I would try to learn as much as I can.
Yeah.
But still, whereas if I moved to Mexico, that I think that within a year I could.
Or Ukraine. I feel like you could pick up some Eastern European languages.
Yeah, I got a little bit of Russian under my belt.
All right, let's hear it.
Oh God, Привет.
Привет. Good.
Меня зовут Sheldon.
Wow, that's good.
Я из Ванкувера.
That was funny. Vancouver. You
Oh,
said
shit.
it like it's plural.
Okay, wait, how do you actually say?
Я из Ванкувера.
Vancouver. Я из Vancouver.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's good. You actually did really good. And your R is rolling.
Oh man, I know so many just random things in Russian, but kushit. That was the one. It's time to eat.
That's my mom's favorite word.
Kushit is a good word.
Yeah.
That's a word you should know in every language. Food and bathroom.
Yeah.
Most important words. Do you know any other languages besides English and Russian and Ukrainian?
No, I don't.
Picked up any Spanish here in Los Angeles?
Kitchen Spanish for sure.
That's real. I remember there's been times where I've like working in restaurants, spending a lot of time in kitchens. Like you pick up a lot of the kitchen Spanish, like más papas fritas, ahorita necesitamos más.
Pollo, por favor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go through some pros and cons about Los Angeles.
Okay.
I'm always fascinated about people's experience here.
Yeah.
What do you like about LA?
Are we talking work-wise or?
We're talking like just life-wise, like living in this city, having to do life here.
Okay.
What do you like about LA? And what could what would you change if you could?
Good question. Well, of course, the weather. Like, can't not think about the weather. I love this having space and time. New York was busy. In LA, I feel like I have more space and more time.
Mm-hmm.
In New York, I always felt in a hurry, always like feeling rushed, always running subway, like crazy. And here, for some reason, I have like actually feel like I have 24 hours, in a day.
Yeah.
I love being able to go to any show, any concert I can. Mm-hmm. I love being close to all the like national parks, all travel. What else? My friends, my family's here now. They moved from Ukraine. They're
Wow.
here.
All your family? Or like your...
My mom and my brother are here.
Wow.
They were able to like get out and get the refugee status. It was very, very intense and crazy, especially for my brother. We are from eastern part of Europe, Ukraine, and it's occupied. And all the men are being taken and sent to war for Russia, to fight for Russia, even though you're Ukrainian.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And a lot of people I know were like, not just asked to go, but taken, like physically grabbed from their workplaces, thrown into the bus, and like on the third day they came back dead, like in a casket, basically. In the best scenario, their bodies were found.
Wow.
So they were looking for my brother, like, trying to find him. Finally, like, bribed Border Patrol, and like somebody picked him up at 4 a.m., put him in the bus, and drove him out of eastern part of Ukraine. Now he's here safe, and thank God.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. So that is the favorite thing about LA, my family being here safe. Yeah, I guess concerts and, that stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to be bored in the city. There's always a show to go to.
Yeah.
Comedy show, music, even theater.
Also, studio where I work, fine line scene that is not big anywhere else in the country.
Even New York? The fine line scene's not as big in New York?
New York is the only place.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm sure like bigger cities have fine line studios and great artists, but from my experience, not many fine line artists in other places. Honestly, now I started traveling more to other states to work because it's just so easy to get clients, and they're just so more like down to like actually come and get something. In LA, people DM you and then they never really get back to you, or they like you talk to them for a week and then they're like not respond. Like it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
It can be sometimes, not always. Versus in Arizona, I just went like I got booked out immediately, and people were so sweet. I love my experience there.
That's so cool. I mean, it's amazing the power of social media as a tattoo artist, and being able to be booked up and know that your schedule is set and that you're going to make money and that you'll be, like that your trip is essentially covered and worthwhile.
Right?
It's amazing.
That's the best part about tattoo. Industry, you can work anywhere pretty much, like as long as your license is, figured out.
Yeah.
So.
How does that work? I don't know much about that with the licensing.
So in the U.S., there are only 2 states that require you to get guest license. It's Minnesota and some other state. I don't remember.
Okay.
But Arizona doesn't require you to get anything So yeah,
and
I have my California license.
How do you get a California tattoo license?
Oh, very easy. You just go on a website. You go through a 4-hour test. You watch little videos and you answer questions about blood-borne disease, how to make sure everything is sterile and clean, and then you go to health departments and pick up your license. Pay $25. I think it's altogether.
Wow.
Gonna cost you.
It's not bad.
Also, a tip: if you ever need to get a tattoo removed, you know how it's super expensive and takes years. If you have tattoo license, you get it removed for free. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done.
Why? That's actually an insane tip. Why is that?
I think because this is kind of a promo for the laser place, removal place. If a tattoo artist comes, they're gonna bring their clients with not their bad tattoos, but done by some other guy or that are bad. They're like, oh, this place I went to, they're good. Maybe it's part of their marketing.
Wow, that's really fascinating.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, in this new age of tattooing, where there's so many new upcoming tattoo artists, but there's also a lot of people getting tattooed. Does it ever feel like there's too many tattoo artists and that it's getting harder? Or if anything, does it just feel like it's getting easier because of social media? And
that's a great question. I've experienced work in a walk-in shop. Also, now I just work in the studio, only appointments. I'm sure if I tattooed for 10 plus years, I would have given you better maybe answer. But because I kind of started recently and I only known tattoo industry as you have to put yourself out there, you have to post, you have to make people know you exist. I feel to me it feels like it's not too bad. It's pretty good. Also maybe the fact that I have Katie and running water and all that travel, that extra exposure. I've never lacked appointments. I don't know. But I do have some fellow artists that sometimes can be booking hasn't been going well lately, but I think it's all possible, and actually if you're just consistent and all that,
Yeah. Well, I get the sense that how active you are on social media makes a big difference.
Huge difference.
It seems like you are pretty, I'm always seeing you post on social media.
I do, yeah.
You're always in my feed.
Yes.
And
I spam people on social media.
But I think that that's important as somebody who's a working artist to constantly be in someone's feed.
Yeah.
Because that's how the work is going to come in.
Yeah, and also you have to build trust of the client. They have to see what you did, and you have to show them healed tattoos. You have to show them, so they know that you know how to make sure that they're not gonna get any contamination, whatever. You have to always communicate. Yeah, I feel like it's very, very, very important.
Yeah.
To be always close and always in their face. But
Wow. Actually, I feel like I usually don't watch the needle go in.
Oh yeah? Why?
I don't know. I think that part is maybe a tiny bit freaky.
But now with the vaccine, you're like...
I know. Honestly, it's crazy. But, yeah, it's so wild.
Is it still working? Do you still not feel anything? Or like now you still...
I feel a little bit, but for the record, it was never that bad.
You're lying.
Oh my god.
It wears off. Like the only thing, vaccine wears off after like 30 minutes. And then you reapply it and it wears off again, but you can't reapply it too many times. So it's important to know when to start applying it and when to stop applying it.
For people who are wanting to get into tattooing, what advice would you give them?
What advice would I give them? Well, I would say that they need to find like a mentor, somebody who would help them. Maybe, like they have to get the good machine, they have to learn how different needles are, all that. And I would, it's gonna sound so stupid but cliche, but like, don't give up. It's, from my experience, I started tattooing and I worked in an old school parlor. So that means that I had clients from the street. I had walk-ins, right? And then now when I'm not doing walk-ins, I have all those people come back to me. So like you have to give yourself a good year for the ball to kind of roll. Yeah. Make sure you have like some other job when you're just starting, but I would say do what you like to do. Like it's very important to do tattoos you enjoy doing. Otherwise, it's just gonna suck. It's just gonna it's gonna feel like a job. It's supposed to feel like you are having the best time of your life when you're tattooing. So do what you want to do. Whatever it is, like you will find your clients. If you'll find people will support your art and everything as long as you are sticking to it. Like you want to do colors, you call it. You want to do chrome, fine line, like just do it. Show people the fake skin. Show people every step of the way.
You mentioned that you practiced a lot on fake skin.
I still do. I love it.
Really? You still practice?
All the time.
Oh, wow. Did you ever practice on yourself?
Yeah. I did this little thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The little, like, Cupid baby?
I did it, like...
Angel
when
baby?
I first started, yeah.
Wow.
Now I have to stare at it. Another tip. Don't tattoo yourself when you're first starting. Give it 2 years.
Did you ever tattoo your legs? I know that a lot of tattoo artists will do their...
No, I don't want to tattoo my legs.
Yeah. That's fair. I've also heard that it's harder to tattoo yourself. Is that true?
Yeah, you have to, because you're using 2 hands. You're stretching the skin and you're tattooing, and you don't have the luxury of that when you only have one.
Yeah, so explain to me that technique. When the needle's going in, you kind of have to stretch the skin as tight as you can? Like, do you find like a balance? How does that work?
Yes, you stretch the skin like as much as you can, that's best. But this hand, the left hand, is controlling how deep you go. Like
really?
On this distance, right? So
interesting.
This hand is feeling the vibration to make sure I'm not like going deeper. Like I feel the vibration of this hand. It tells me how deep I am.
Wow. And the deeper it goes, the more the vibration? Yeah,
it just feels like, it feels like more vibration. And it's just more like harder, I guess, vibration. And if you obviously don't want to blow anything out, so you would control it with this hand. Stretch the skin and like wipe it, like with the towel here.
Right, yeah. It's constantly like a few lines and then wipe, and then a few lines and then wipe. Are there any kind of like, I don't know, principles or rules when it comes to tattooing? Like things that just all tattoo artists know?
Principles? Is it like technical wise?
Yeah, like technical wise. Like things that like every tattoo artist would know this. Like this is what you do when you tattoo.
That's such a good question. I feel like right now with all the styles and all the machines and techniques, there's not many universal things except like obviously sterile, like have it clean. Like with these gloves can't touch anything that is not wrapped. So yeah, I feel like because everybody works in such a different way, and there's not really like universal things like that anymore, which is very interesting. Yeah, I thought about it.
You think you'd ever want to own your own shop one day?
Honestly, I don't really see myself opening a studio unless Running Water project opens a studio, and it's like a theme, very niche experience kind of thing, but with my friends. But I personally don't want to have a studio.
Yeah.
I don't want to like deal with that stuff.
Well, it's interesting. I feel like nowadays it almost seems like you don't need a studio because you can do literally what we're doing right now, where you can just go to someone's house and tattoo them. You can tattoo in a hotel room.
But like, I still love the idea of a studio, like having all this art, and like Sasha tattooing has a studio, and all the artists there are very much this vibe, and I love to do artwork. And like, I still love that. I just don't want to have one.
Yeah. Is there a specific artist you have in mind who you would like to get tattooed by for your next tattoo?
Well, I want to get a Sacred Heart.
Okay.
And I want it to be old school, like traditional style. And there's an artist I worked with in High Seas. His name is Nick. I love his old school lines are so nice and thin and sharp. I can see myself having this type of old school tattoo by him. So I want to get a tattoo by him.
Nice.
And also, I've already gotten tattooed by Sonia, so...
Who did the Tweety Bird tattoo on you?
Oh, yeah, it's my friend Anna. She works at Pony Wave Studio here in downtown.
Okay.
She actually is so incredible. She does very, very amazing job on fine line, and also she can do color. Love her. She's Russian. Her name is Anna.
Anna. And what was the name of the studio?
Do you know Pony Wave?
Pony Wave.
She was an ink master.
That sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah, she's Russian, I think, and she does this huge, like, color flowers pieces and stuff. Yeah, she's really...
It seems like there's so many talented tattoo artists right now coming out of Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah.
Like, am I crazy, or is that the case, that there's a lot of people coming to Los Angeles?
Yeah, you're not crazy. It is happening. I feel like the answer to why they're good is because the standards over there, as far as like the piece goes, are very, very high. Like you are not gonna get a shitty tattoo in Ukraine ever.
Wow.
Same goes for like all the services, nails, salon, like whatever microblading girls get. So it's always gonna be very, very high like standards. People expect, if they pay money, they expect the best. Like maybe that's why.
Interesting. And that's just kind of part of the culture in Ukraine?
Yeah. Americans are very keep it nice face. Like, I saw on TikTok so many videos where, like, people got tattooed, terrible tattoos, and they didn't say anything. And in Ukraine, people won't ever do that. They would say, like, hey, this is not what I wanted. Nobody's going to do it. So.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, on that note, what are some of the other just cultural differences that you notice between people? When you think about life back in Ukraine and then friends in New York or friends in LA.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny you ask, because when I studied in that ESL school, studied English, the teachers, imagine a teacher like in their 30s, 40s, and they have a class of like 20 people in their old people, not kids. Yeah. People that moved, immigrants, from all over the world, different cultures, like different mentalities. Very hard job, I think. Yeah. So they were telling us not only the language, but also how to act. Really? Like the manners. Okay. The American manners. And they would be like, Americans care about, they called it positive face, keep positive face, like small talk. Not big in Ukraine. Like, nobody small talks in Ukraine. If somebody would come up to me in line, I would be like, get weirded out by it. It's not a small talk culture. We are not feeling awkward in silence. You don't have to talk to a person in the elevator.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
And so that's a big one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's really fascinating. It kind of reminds me of a memory when I was in Russia as a little kid. We were on the bus. Mm-hmm. We took the bus all over the place, and our family was talking the entire time. Mm-hmm. Everybody on the bus was just quiet. Totally quiet. And then eventually, because of a bit of a unfortunate situation, we realized like we should also just be quiet on the bus.
Right? And you feel kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, it's it was a funny educational moment for sure. Yeah. Realizing that. What else kind of stands out to you in terms of the differences between like American culture and or Eastern European culture?
Well, I haven't been there in 8 years, mm-hmm. So it's kind of hard to tell, but I feel like the biggest one to me is no small talk and like privacy, like more reserved culture. That's kind of biggest thing to me.
Yeah.
This is the question I'll probably come back home like, oh, I forgot to say that. How could I forget?
Yeah. Well, how do you feel about that idea of positive face and small talk? At this point, being in America for 8 years, does that feel natural? Is it something that you enjoy? Do you enjoy the fact that somebody might just talk to you at the grocery store? Or is that still weird?
I'm still, now at this point, I'm super used to it. And my friends my best friends from my childhood who just moved here, they live in Arizona, they are having a hard time with it. And really? I'm like the one, like, just smiling and talk to them. What's wrong with you? Pointing the finger back. But
that's funny.
I love the positive face kind of. Like, for example, if you're a server in a restaurant and you get the super pissed client, like picky, pissed customer, in Ukraine, they would, be like pretty vocal about it and they would start throw fists. Yeah. And over here, they would just be like, can I talk to your manager?
Oh my goodness.
Like, that's all.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that non-confrontational vibe. Mm-hmm. And when I went to Arizona recently, kind of spent more time with locals, I really felt like the people are so genuinely nice. Not just positive face, but they're like actually very, very, very sweet. And I love that.
How long did you work in restaurants for?
My whole time in New York.
Okay, so 5 years.
Yeah. I also babysat and like just little things like that.
Yeah. And you said you started as a host, but then you worked as a server and a bartender?
I worked in the bar, but like a waitress.
Oh, okay.
And like sometimes the cover shift at the bar, but I was running around the floor mostly.
Yeah. So one of the topics that I actually cover on this podcast is the restaurant industry.
Oh, yeah.
Because I worked in the restaurant industry for pretty much from the time I was like 15 till this last year.
Yeah.
28.
Yeah.
29. And there's so many just crazy stories that you get when you work in the service industry. Mm-hmm. Are there any that come to mind that are, particularly like funny or interesting?
Well, there's one that comes to mind, particularly really sad. There was a huge fight in the bar. Oh, jeez. And this big guy, like, against the whole bar, and he just threw everybody around. Like, big guys were flying through the bar.
No way.
And, like, the chairs were broken. Somebody got a concussion. And, like, I'm in the middle of it, like, watching, like, not
oh, my
like,
God.
What am I supposed to do about it? Yeah, so that was pretty bad. But
what was the fight about?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah, I'll tell you off.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was really bad. That was really negative, like, memory. And I don't think I've ever seen this fight before that moment. That was bad.
I saw so many fights working in restaurants.
Oh yeah?
So many fights. Well, I worked at a nightclub in college that was on the campus of the university I went to.
Mm-hmm.
So you would see fights and have people get kicked out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then working in LA, yeah, I saw tons of fights, plenty of fights.
In LA?
Oh man. So even in Santa Monica, but also I worked at a restaurant in downtown Los Angeles.
Okay.
But it was a nice restaurant. I still saw people fighting and doing all sorts of crazy things.
Really?
Yeah.
What would they fight over? Just like get drunk and fight? Or?
I think it's usually alcohol induced. I don't think anybody is fighting who hasn't had at least one drink
Right?
in their system.
Yeah, especially not in America because you can't get sued if you fight.
Yeah, maybe the one exception to that was, and this wasn't a fight, but I one time watched, there was a homeless lady who jumped up onto a police car in front of the restaurant, and she smashed the windshield in with her bare feet, and then walked away.
Wow.
And the cops were in a bar across the street, and they came out, and their windshield had been totally smashed in
Oh my God.
by this woman's feet.
Did they find her?
No, she just walked away. Just another day.
Bloody feet.
Just another day in downtown Los Angeles.
Wow. Yeah.
There was a time when a guy got tased outside. I didn't get tased. No. But a guy got tased outside the restaurant. The cops arrested him.
You watched the whole thing happen?
I definitely watched the whole thing.
Wow.
That was a very crazy night.
That's crazy.
There was another time that a cop pulled out his gun on this kid because the kid he was throwing glasses at a homeless guy, and the kid was all messed up, like probably on drugs, and it was just the whole...
That sounds like New York.
It was insane.
Yeah, crazy. Oh, that's like very dangerous job.
It felt very dangerous. I don't think that was probably the most dangerous job I've ever had in my life.
Right?
Some of those situations.
You never think being a server, like working in a restaurant, would be so dangerous, right?
But obviously, too, there were incredible times, conversations with people. Did you ever have any interactions when you were working in restaurants that really stick out to you as just like maybe special people that you just like loved seeing? You'd always have a good conversation with them, or like regulars that you loved, like.
Honestly, no.
No.
To be completely honest, like I feel I wasn't very open to talk much to the clients.
Yeah.
Because, like I was just always trying to keep it like I'm your server. What do you want? Like let's keep it at that. So
Yeah.
not really. I
That's
wasn't
fair.
really asking the questions or anything.
That's fair.
So,
That might be a bit of a personality difference too between you and me.
Yeah.
I'm a very like
yes, I am. Super,
want to talk to everybody and find out their life story.
Yes.
Hence what's happening right now.
Yes, exactly. See, I am not a talker. I can go a whole day without saying a word, and I'll be best day of my life.
Wow. Well, then I got to say you're killing it right now because
No, it doesn't mean the more words I say, the worse my day gets. No, it's just I'm content to be quiet.
Yeah. What do you like to do when you're not tattooing?
Well, I like to enjoy Los Angeles, go hiking, do all that, read books, just spend time with my friends, just regular stuff. Lately I've been enjoying the climbing gym.
Shout out Cliffs of It.
Yeah. And also, I just love spending time with my dogs. I love them so much. I feel like they slow me down.
Wait, so you have more than one?
Yeah, I have Nacho and Bambi. She's a little...
Okay, do you have a tattoo of Bambi?
Not yet, no.
Okay, yeah, you gotta, if you got the one,
I can...
Bambi's gonna get a little jealous.
She's so jealous already. I think I'll get her name tattooed, but not her face, because it would be weird to have two Boston Terrier faces on me.
That's awesome. I can't wait to get a dog eventually, but...
You should.
Not quite yet, but it's coming. Recently, so my favorite dog is a Doberman Pinscher, and I live in my van, so a Doberman Pinscher is a pretty big dog to have
Yeah.
if you live in a van. But I recently interviewed a guy on the podcast who lives in his van with his Doberman Pinscher.
Oh,
So
what?
it's
Your
possible. I know it is possible. I've seen it done.
Yeah. You know who you should interview? You should interview Yevsey, the guy from the studio, because he is all you like. He's climbing.
Yeah.
He lived in the van when he first moved. He's a tattoo artist and running the studio. He's traveling a lot.
Okay.
And he's a good talker.
Okay. Honestly, I would love to.
But only after you interviewed Katie and Julia.
Okay. Wow. Are we pretty much...
yeah, we are wrapping up.
This is it?
Almost. Let me just
Wow.
look at our
Damn.
It's like given.
I'm just laughing at these other purple moths that I got on my arm.
We'll have to wipe that off because it's gonna get all over your.
Covered in butterflies. What kind of moth is this?
It's my Friday the 13th flash month.
Okay. Friday the 13th flash. I still have actually not gotten a Friday the 13th tattoo.
What?
I know.
You should.
I know. I really should. When is the next Friday the 13th? No?
That's a good question.
Katie's on it. She's going to tell us. Have you? Have you gotten a Friday the 13th tattoo?
I think this little cross.
The cross?
Yeah, I worked in a restaurant in New York. It was in Brooklyn, actually.
Mhm.
It was this amazing Italian restaurant, so delicious. Great. They're closed now, but
September and December
September.
oh,
Wow. Okay.
You should do it.
Gonna have to...
2025. Only gonna have one.
Only one Friday the 13th in 2025. When's that?
June.
June. Damn. Okay. Well, we'll see what part of the world I'm in September and December of this year.
oh. Are you traveling the world? Not only.
Possibly.
Oh.
On your van.
Top secret. Got some top secret plans that I probably can't talk about on the podcast.
Okay.
What about you? Do you have any big plans for the future? I know there's that tour coming up in the summer.
I actually do, but
Okay.
I'd like to keep it low key for now.
Oh man, look at us both holding out on the podcast.
Yeah. I'd like to maybe next podcast.
Okay. There's going to be a next podcast. Okay, I like this. How long is this next tour that you're going to be on?
2 months straight.
2 months.
2 months.
We're gonna be first one. Gonna be over 30 days.
Wow.
And it's all in the car. 3 of us.
30 days, all in a car.
I
Yes.
hope we're still gonna stay friends.
I feel like you guys should be documenting this.
We will be.
Yes. Well, any tips on how? Just phone or like what are you
Just
doing?
keep the phone rolling. Get it all. Most importantly, get the drama. Get the stuff you don't want to get.
Oh yeah.
Because you'll...
No, we don't like drama. No drama.
Yeah. It's just like passive aggressive. Just kidding.
What's the hardest thing about being on tour? I mean, you're working long hours. You're going from city to city, hotel to hotel.
Yes.
Like, what do you do when it gets hard? What are the hard things?
Well, that was really fun when we were in some states tattooing after the show, and we have like a huge list of people who tattoo, and estimated time we finished at like 2 a.m. And
Wow.
Katie's like laughing. She's like, by the way, forgot to schedule your time to sleep. What do you mean? So we tattoo until like 2, 3 a.m., get on the flight at 4, get to the next city, and it's hot.
Get on the flight at 4 a.m.
Yes, and it's like some red-eye flight. Get out from the plane and go tattoo.
Wow.
So it was a sleepless night. It
Wow.
was very, very brutal. We also shout out Katie for good scheduling.
Man.
So another crazy what happened. Like so, there was this tour bus that we were like hearing about,
Mm-hmm.
like made by fans.
Mm-hmm.
I should
That's
have
cool.
stretch, by the way.
I might do one of these real quick. Oh man, I can feel 30. It's right around the corner. Oof.
Almost ready.
Oh.
So there's this tour bus that goes around, follows the tour, and like full of fans. And they were like, you can tattoo on the bus. And like, I've been on a tour bus, and they're normally so nice. They're awesome. There's a kitchen, like restaurant, there's like bunks and a lot of space. Like you could tattoo there. There's running water inside, so
Wow.
possible. We're thinking great. So after the sleepless night, we get to this, what is it, like Minneapolis or something, super hot. We get to the bus, and it's a like 90s old school bus, I think, renovated by this girl into a travel bus.
Okay, that's
And
pretty cool.
It's shaking.
No.
There's no AC.
Oh
Like
no.
you tattoo, you didn't sleep all night. You're trying to tattoo. The bus is shaking. People are walking on it. It's like hot, and you have this stupid little light in your forehead. It was so bad. So Katie quickly pulled out, like, changed the plans.
Yeah.
And we were able to get a hotel and just
Yeah.
go there. But this is really scary. I don't want to like be smiling now, but the bus ended up. The brakes broken while they were.
No way.
Yeah, but they're all safe. Everything was good.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it was not good idea.
Wow.
It was for them and for us.
Wow. Man, see, these are the crazy tour stories that I want to hear about.
Yeah.
I think it's impossible to do what you guys are doing and not end up with all sorts of crazy stories.
Tell him about Boston.
Oh god, what happened in Boston?
Oh my God. Yeah, we were pretty excited about Boston. I love Boston, and we got
You know
there.
why we were excited? I don't. Am I supposed to talk? I don't know.
No, you can talk. Tell me, why are you excited about Boston?
So we were staying like one night in every city.
One night in
we had
every
no
city.
Sleep.
Yeah.
Like sleep deprivation was the hardest part of the tour. Boston 3 nights. For no reason, we had 2 shows in Boston. So
Okay.
we get to stay 3 nights. I book a hotel. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Go on.
3 nights in Boston, 2 shows.
Yes. So 3 nights in Boston, 2 shows. So for us, it's a good chunk of work. A lot of clients are excited, and so we get to the hotel, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna check you in." And we already have like 5-10 people waiting in the lobby, and they're like, "We don't have your booking at the moment we're supposed to check in." We're like, "What do you mean? Like, here's all the information. Like, they somehow like book us, we get in, but they're like, we don't know when you need to leave." We're like, "Okay." So we start working, and then they're like, "You have to leave," basically.
Oh my goodness.
And we have people waiting and like everything.
Man.
So they like put us into another room, right? For the next night, we move everything. The whole tattoo shop we move.
Yeah.
And then basically after that night, they were like, "You have to leave. Like, that's it." And we're like, again, we have people waiting. Already, like right now, like there's a line of people waiting.
Yeah.
So we start calling all the hotels that there are in the proximity, like of Boston. Everything is booked out. There's nothing available. Like the only hotel I was able to get through was the Four Seasons, and it was $2,000 a night. So we're like, well, that's not out of the budget, kind of. So we ended up getting Super 8 was $500. Super 8. So we're like Model 6 or something, $500. So Katie somehow found this stay in whatever in the ghetto somewhere for $900. And we touched it there.
Wow.
So yeah,
We Ubered with our clients in the same Uber.
You Ubered with the clients.
Because I'm like, we can cancel it and come with us. So yeah, they double booked our room.
Oh, they double booked you
so
guys.
They booked us for 1 night instead of 3. That's what they had. And then next day at like noon, they were like, "We have another room for you." But he told me he had it for 2 nights. So I was like, okay, whatever. We move once.
Oh,
then
man.
we moved. So I was excited to sleep for 3 nights in the same room. We ended up sleeping in one room, one in the second room, and then next day they told us they don't have nothing. Wow. So we ended up being in 2 hotels, 3 rooms, and 2 nights.
Oh my goodness.
It was amazing.
Have you guys ever had, besides that, any problems with the hotels, with tattooing in the hotels, or has it always been
I think
smooth sailing?
they don't care.
They don't care. Wow.
They don't care about that. So it was great.
I'm sure it's just as long as they get paid. And
Yeah, especially when we tattooed in New York in that famous hotel in the Fandom. We almost like every client would tag them. Like, "Oh, I got a tattoo in this hotel." And we're like, maybe you shouldn't tag the hotel. Just like keep it.
That's funny.
Just put the location. Don't tag them, please.
I'm sure that worse things have happened in those hotels.
I'm sure.
I'm sure anything you can imagine has happened in a hotel. So
Yeah.
it's probably the least of their concerns.
I think so too.
Yeah. Once you do a tour and you've been working every single day, crazy hours, when you get back, do you take time off? You take a week off, 2 weeks off, decompress?
I don't remember, but I honestly don't think I did that really for like a week or 2 weeks now. Because while I was gone on tour, so many people were DMing and like waiting to get an appointment.
Yeah.
So I kind of was booking my LA.
Just go back into it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Obviously, like a couple of days with my boyfriend, my mom, my dogs, but not much time.
Wow.
And also, I love what I do. I don't need a week or 2 weeks off. Like
Wow.
I can't wait to get to it. Like I enjoy it. So.
What do you think is your favorite thing about tattooing? What like gives you that passion?
It's perfect in every single way. It's a perfect amount of talking to people, and like you're just one-on-one with person. I feel like I can serve a person. Like I can really, like I had clients like that lost their loved ones, and like this has helped them cope. Like they said crazy things to me that I didn't expect to hear. Like I'm excited that there's something I can do to serve someone. Yeah.
I'm really fascinated by that perspective because I've asked tattoo artists this question of how do you feel about sometimes being in a position where somebody is like unloading on you what's going on in their life, and it can be really heavy and really intense.
It can. I honestly, even though I say like sometimes I
where do you want me to go here?
Yeah.
Keep it that way?
Yeah. Whenever I do these tattoos for people who lost loved ones, and it's very emotional, and we're both crying and everything, I come home like drained. Like I am truly emotionally exhausted and like completely squeezed out, but also super grateful that there's something I could do to this person who's going through something crazy right now, and if I could have, like when somebody's telling you that their loved one died, you are speechless. There's nothing you can do to help them.
Yeah.
But like they come to you to get the service done to help them. So that's great. I feel like it's amazing. But of course I wouldn't want to do it every day because this is very emotional draining. But you can still serve somebody who wants to like get a piece done for fun. So like our tour, people are so passionate about these musicians and this music and help them through a lot, and they experiencing like the highest moments of life, like being young and traveling and going to shows, and they get to have the mark on their bodies forever about this experience. That's kind of fun. That's rewarding, I've seen the most excited people on tour for sure.
That's such a unique experience in a way, such a unique way to get a tattoo. I mean, to be going to a show, to be maybe in a new city, because I know a lot of people follow Harry on tour and see him many times, and then on top of that, to get a tattoo to commemorate that. I mean, it's really special.
Yeah. Katie got Louis Tomlinson to sign her arm. Physically, she met him at the bar and got him to sign, and it was such a big moment. And I tattooed over his signature.
Wow.
And it was really fun because I also had a picture of it as a reference, and like I could see where he like put the marker and went and like kind of whipped it. And I just did it like kind of stick and pokey with the machine, but just with dots from darker to like lighter to like really make sure it's perfect as it was in the beginning. And that's cool. Like I just tapped it with alcohol, not like wiped it off, just like carefully, and then I did it too. It's cool.
Wow.
Okay, I think we're done with this.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, we need to wipe that off. Okay, I want to see when you're just standing like...
Just standing when we stand up?
Oh, no, just without armrest. Just like sit, take your arm off the armrest.
What do you think?
Yeah, I just want to make sure. Yep. There it is. Yeah.
That looks amazing.
Yeah. No, I love it. It's fun.
Looks awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been, wow.
Great addition.
A great addition. What I love about this is just like, with every tattoo that gets added to this sticker sleeve, it's just another memory of another conversation.
Yeah.
And it's sad to me that I haven't been able to podcast with. Obviously, I started getting tattooed when I was 21. That's the beginning of this arm.
Yeah.
But I wish I could go back and have captured those conversations, because I have them, in my mind. I can remember them.
Especially this one, like the story behind this one.
Oh my goodness.
So
well, I will go
fascinating.
back. I will go back to Jerusalem and find Razuk and be like, all right, man, we got to do a podcast, because.
Does he speak English?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He speaks English, Arabic, and Hebrew.
You should definitely do that then.
Yeah. No, I think it would be super, super fascinating. So.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Alina. This
you.
has been awesome. Where can people find your work? Where can they find your Instagram, whatever you have online? What do you want people to check out?
Well, I'm working on getting the website put together. For now, it's on Instagram. My name is Alina UA. That's right. And also, our project is Running Water Tattoo on tour, right?
And then the tour that you're going to be following this summer, whose tour is it?
Niall from One Direction.
Okay, so if anybody's going to any of those shows, you will have the possibility of getting tattooed.
Yeah.
Do people mostly reach out through TikTok or Instagram, or both? Like,
They're kind of being directed from my TikTok to my Instagram to book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I always, whenever I bring somebody on who speaks another language, I'd love to give people an opportunity to, like, if they want to, say something in their language. Is there anything you want to say?
Oh.
No pressure. You don't have to, but I love at least, like, making space for that.
I think I'll say Slava Ukraini. Героям слава.
Slava Ukraine. Well, thank you so much. I guess we got to wrap this up, and
Yes.
literally and figuratively. So,
Second skin. I wrote second skin for you.
okay. Thank you, Alina.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Spring Street Podcast. If you'd like to support the show, sign up for the Patreon to receive exclusive behind-the-scenes content, and check out the sponsor links in the description.